Are you interested in doing some motovlogging and you've thought about getting the GoPro Media mod? Stick around and I will tell you how to get great audio out of this thing. I've been hearing a lot of complaints about motovlogging with the GoPro Media mod. And what I think the problem is people aren't using the right settings. There's quite a few videos out there kind of going over, oh, this is no good, you need to use an external device if you're going to get good audio, and it's not true. Part of the reason why I decided to go with this is, frankly, I didn't want to sync tons and tons and tons of audio clips after the fact. And my wife and I, we were recently watching the season 6 of Itchy Boots, and I noticed she's using the GoPro Media mod. And I thought, well, her audio sounds pretty clean, so let's give it a shot. Originally, we were using a Zoom recorder with the lav mics, and it just wasn't fun. So I decided to bite the bullet, buy the Media mod, and the results I got at first were terrible.
Wafu have okonomiyaki, which is a red bean pastry thing.
Yeah, that audio is terrible, and I figured there's got to be a better way. I just can't believe GoPro would just, put out that garbage. And the thing you need to get into is the raw audio settings. And in order to get there, what we're going to do is we're going to click on that little profile, and then we're going to go and edit that little profile. So you come into here, and this doesn't matter. It's not just cinematic, it's activity, it's whatever you want it to be. You can do this on all of them. So you just keep scrolling up and you come to raw audio. Boop. And in here you select how much processing you want done. So on this one, what was this one? Yeah, standard audio without a raw audio track. You do not want this one. This one's terrible. It's not going to do what you want. So you want to use low. That's the one I've had great results with, and you can hear it here.
I looked at a lot of Harley Davidson pictures.
And just as long as you're using low, you're going to have some pretty decent audio to work with without having to do any syncing. Now, if you want, you can play around with doing the medium. If you go into the high, I don't think it's going to give you what you're looking for, but definitely low for sure works. Okay, now what does this mean after the fact? What are you going to end up with when you take that card out? Well, you're going to end up with a whole bunch of files, and you are going to have to sync them, but it's not the same as just free syncing your audio, like clap, sync, it's not that. All you got to do is just line them up because they are exactly the same length as the original file. So let's dive into the computer and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, here we have it. We've got our video clips and we also have our WAV files. And here's an additional little pro tip for you. What I like to do is create, not a shortcut, what I like to do is create a folder for the video, create a folder for the audio, and separate. So we'll do it by type, and we'll take these MP4 files and drop them in the video, and we're going to take these audio files and drop them in the audio. Okay, now the reason for that is in GoPro's infinite wisdom, I don't know what they were thinking. Their naming structure is really, really ridiculous. So I have a 29 and a 28. Everything is out of order because of the way they name their files. So what I like to do is go in and I organize by date. So we are backwards right now. There we go, 6:53 a.m. to 7:28 a.m. And I select everything. Right-click on the first one, choose rename, and I'm just going to call it PJ for now. And bada bing, bada boom, they're all now renamed in the proper order. And then I go to the audio one, I go to date modified, I do the same thing, 11:31 to, and that's another interesting thing. I don't know why, but the time stamps don't actually line up the same, which is really, really weird. 9/11. Let me see if this was 9/11. Yeah, okay, so it's got the same actual date, but the time, they're different. But we're not going to get into that right now, as long as this is showing up as we're backwards. Okay, so then again, I'm going to do this. I'm going to right click, I'm going to choose rename, and I'm going to call it PJ A. I like doing that because when I'm in the editing software, it's just more easily identifiable. All right, so that's our file organization. Now what we're going to do is jump into DaVinci Resolve, and I'm going to show you what we have. If you're not using Resolve, this will work with all other editors. I do recommend DaVinci Resolve though, because it is awesome. All right, so let's go find our files, and this one, and I'm gonna just drag these two folders in here, and I'm gonna change. Okay, cool. So I've got my files in here. Let's go to my timeline. I'm gonna create a new timeline. Okay, cool. So here's my video files in appropriate order. Drag them onto the timeline. Awesome sauce. And then we're going to go grab our audio files and drag those onto the timeline. Cool. See? And they line right up. There's no funky syncing or anything weird you have to do. Now, you're probably wondering, why are there so many audio files? So the easy answer to that is the GoPro Media mod essentially has 4 different microphones. So basically 1 and 2 is going to be the stereo mic input from your lav. So your lav mic that you plug into the back of it, the GoPro treats it as a stereo file. It's obviously mono because it's 1 microphone, but it comes in stereo. Channel 3 and 4 is going to be your front and rear microphone on the Media mod. Once you plug a microphone into it though, it basically disables that. So these audio channels are blank. There's nothing there. And we don't need them. So we can just delete them. Goodbye. Now these are the audio channels that do have audio, which for some reason is not showing up yet, but that's no big deal. But again, this is mono, so I don't need the second one. I can get rid of it. And then this channel that came with your video clip, this one is going to be the fully processed one. So we actually don't want this one at all either. You can either delete it or you can just mute it. Choice is yours. If this was all you needed to know and you're not a DaVinci Resolve user, thanks for watching. If you liked it, please like. If you really liked it, please subscribe. We have plenty of content coming that's all around motorcycles. Now, if you are a DaVinci Resolve user and you kind of want to see what I do with these audio tracks, then stick around for a second. Okay, so what we're going to do with these audio tracks, this is how I like to deal with it, is when I'm in here in the media area, and you can actually do this from in here as well. Basically, let's actually delete everything. I'll come in and I'll right click, select all, right click, and I'll go to clip attributes and I'll go to audio. And I already know that audio 3 and 4 is useless, so goodbye, goodbye. And I don't know, I'm weird. I always use audio 2. You know, it's exactly the same, but it's my own weird little thing. I don't know why I do it. So I'm going to just leave it with mono, embed channel 2. I'm going to hit OK. And so now when I drag this stuff onto the timeline, it's not dragging all 4 audio tracks. It's just the one audio track. Kind of just cleans things up for you a little bit. So that's your pro tip for doing this in Resolve. And then for the video, I just I grab all the little video tracks and I throw them on there. And for some reason, I always keep them, and I keep this audio track and I mute it. I don't know why. Again, it's just my own thing. You really don't need it though. You can go in and just delete it. All right, so I hope that helps you with your motovlogging adventures, and I hope it also helps if you already bought the media mod and you were wondering, why does this sound so bad, or you were thinking of buying the media mod. I definitely think it's worth it. It does add a tiny bit more weight to your helmet, but that convenience of just drop it on a timeline and it lines up, it makes life so much better than using one of these guys and recording your audio separately and then, okay, let me sync it up, that's a drag. I already have to do that because I'm running 3 cameras at the moment, so I really didn't want to have to sync 3 cameras to each other and then sync 2 additional audio sources to it. That just would have been too much. So anyways, hope this helped. If it did, please like, subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Have a good one.